And we're live. Hey, and welcome. Allow me to also go live on Instagram. Brilliant. All right. Well, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Noemi. I'm the founder of ScaleWave. We're specializing in Amazon ads, and today's session it is a Amazon ads session where you can ask all your questions when it comes down to advertising. I'm going to specifically answer first the beginner questions, as 5 years ago, 6 years ago almost, when I started on Amazon and I started to learn about Amazon and what's going on Amazon and how to sell on Amazon. Amazon ads were one of my weakest suits and I had to learn from scratch. And today I'm happy to let you know that I'm able to answer all the questions that you might have if you're just starting right away with Amazon ads. And most importantly, during the session, I want to make sure that I'm going to help you prioritize which are the right questions to ask. Because, yes, all the questions might seem that they are good to ask. However, if you don't know which ones to prioritize first and how to think when it comes down to ads, you're going to end up scrolling through lots of content when it comes down to Amazon ads, and you're going to learn lots of tips, tricks, and hacks, which ultimately not only that they're going to make you believe that you actually know what you're doing, but unfortunately after a few months or even a few weeks or after starting your first campaign, it will make you realize that actually this is not as easy as they made it sound. So today I aim to answer everyone who has questions when it comes down, especially Amazon ads and especially beginner questions. My chair is squeaking. Hopefully it's not going to do that. Let's see. I have one more chair here. This one is squeaking too. All right, I'm not going to change chairs. We are streaming right now live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also Instagram. And if in case that you see me going through like this, and I'm going through all the basically windows that I have here folded on top to make sure that I'm going to answer all the questions. I'm going to answer also questions that have been submitted previously. And also I'm going to, first off, prioritize Amazon ads related questions. Really, really important. Cool. All right. So before I'm going to start, quick intro about today's session. As I was mentioning, this session is dedicated for all your Amazon ads questions. Specifically, if you have any business related questions, hiring, firing, SOPs, processes, whatever is right now on your mind that is business related, happy to answer them all. I'm going to prioritize first the Amazon PPC related because those are the ones that we are here for today. Also, quick heads up, usually these sessions I aim to stream for a one full hour. Today's session it's going to be only 30 minutes. I'm not feeling the best today, and I want to make sure that I am delivering value to you as well as I'm making sure that for the next time as well you can see me. That being said, before I'm starting to dive deep into questions itself, something that was really on my mind and wanted to share also with you is scope creep. And this is really important, especially if you're starting your business and you're not sure how to prioritize, what to prioritize, and most importantly, whenever you're seeing that you're providing a service, in our case, we're providing Amazon ads as service, and we're a service-based agency. When you are thinking of service, imagine whenever you are going to pay your phone bill, you're subscribing to a monthly subscription service. That is the way how we are handling accounts. And why is that important is because, especially during the last quarter, actually this quarter, because we're still in Q1, what I noticed, there was a lot of scope creep when it comes down to what we actually offer in our agreements and what our clients ask for. And here, keep in mind, this is not something that negative review of the how clients are treating us or something like that. No, not at all. This is from the point of view that probably if you're here, and I'm hoping that if you're here and you're providing some type of service, you aim to do your best when it comes down to both keeping your clients happy and also making sure that customer delight is there while delivering your service. Now, why is this important and why I wanted to share it with you before I'm stepping into answering all the questions is because I am seeing that especially if you are very prone to make your clients happy, What you're going to end up with without wanting is scope creep. How I define scope creep is based on the current purpose of whatever you would deliver. In this case, Amazon services, clients would ask you for out of scope services that are not within your scope. And they would expect that you're going to deliver the same way for those out of scope things, even faster, even better experience, and so on and so forth, or anyhow deliver at least on things that are not within your agreement. And why is this important is because this is going to take the attention of your team. This is going to take your attention. This is going to take up a lot of time from things that you're supposed to be doing within your agency or within your company, or even if your employee still applies within your purpose of, hey, I have 40 hours per week that I'm going to dedicate to XYZ task in order to manage, sustain, and improve the things that I am working on. If you're an employee, you would do the same thing, right? What is going to happen if that I'm going to request lots of things that are actually not within whatever I'm offering? One, there's going to be a lot of frustration on your end because you are already aiming to deliver the best service possible that you have. And then second, you're going to bring false hopes, false expectations from your clients' end, who probably you're assuming that they know exactly what your contract is about. They signed the agreement. They should know that your business hours are between Monday and Friday, between 9 to 5 a.m., 9 to 5 p.m., and they are messaging you on Saturdays and Sundays, and they should know better. Thing is that if you're not going to keep at it, at the scope itself, whatever is within your agreement, what you're going to end up with is you're going to become very reactive. So the moment that they are messaging you, you're going to reply right away, even if it's not within your business hours, Again, emphasizing the fact that it is amazing to deliver high customer delight when it comes down to the customer experience. However, what we've seen on our end, and right now I'm just stepping back, zooming out for clarity, because Q1 is going to end actually today, as it's March 31st when I'm recording this, 2026. I realized that this is something that me on my end, as a manager of a team and as a manager of a client relationships, I should be better in expressing that. So moving forward, just want to encourage you, whenever or whatever your position would be, either you're an employee, either you're an agency owner, either you are delivering any type of services, it's going to be crucial for you to, one, keep up with delighting that customer and retain them for as long as you can based on exceptional quality of your service that they are paying for. And two, make sure that when it comes down to, hey, all these things I'm already doing for you, and there's still lots of things that are coming in on my plate that we have not agreed upon, yet you're expecting me to deliver at 110%, the same way how I would for my services that you're paying for. Just step back and find the right wording, letting them know that, hey, I understand how business works. I understand that things might be thrown on your plate and you're hoping to throw them on my plate so I can solve them for you, which is great, and be understanding. Look, this is where we are. I want to be super respectful of you and of our agreement. Really important that we're still keeping whatever is within scope, and in case that you need something additional, more than happy. But let's discuss, let's see eye to eye, because what's going to happen is that if you're not going to address this right away or as close as possible to whenever you see scope creep, one, you're going to make them believe that you're not responsive, which is not the case. Probably you're just, how do you call it? You're just swimming in lots of things that have been thrown on your plate. And then second, you don't want to mess up on the things that you, in the first place, were hired for, which is if you're an employee and you have specific responsibilities, deliver on those. If you're an agency and you have specific responsibilities within your agreement/contract, deliver on those first. All right, people are joining, questions are coming in, and more than happy to answer them. A very old and good friend Roxy Derechke just joined on Instagram. Hey Roxy, how's it going? It's a pleasure to see you and have you here. You just entered our Amazon ads session where I'm replying to all the questions that are thrown my way when it comes down to Amazon advertising. I am answering first beginner questions. So those are the ones that we're going to go through. And as I was mentioning, prioritizing the first 30 minutes only. Today's session is going to be just a bit shorter as I'm not feeling the best just still yet. I'm feeling better, but I want to make sure that you are going to have a part of me next week as well. So I am fully recovered. Yeah, nothing serious. I'm just pregnant, 37 weeks pregnant, and the baby is right on my heart right now, and it's pushing strongly on my heart. That is the best joy ever. All right, cool. So allow me to go through all the questions that I'm seeing right now on my end. Reminder, we have questions coming in from LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. Also, some people who submitted their question because they are not going to be able to be on this session. I'm going to address all these questions. So if you are not seeing them in the chat or something like that, just letting you know that's where I'm reading from, and also from other questions that are coming in. Cool. First question, how do I approach keyword research specifically for Amazon PPC campaigns? When it comes down to keyword research, it's really important to understand the scope of each keyword within a campaign. So there can be keywords that are more broader, that are describing your product. Here, an example, just prepared for myself some yummy lemonade. For example, if someone would look up this particular glass with, I would call it a glass jar with bamboo lid, that is the broadest thing that they could find, yet it's highly describing your product. Or even making it even broader, it could be glass jar. Now, glass jar can be it is super broad, right? So very diverse. It can be the mason jars that have glass jar. It can be this jar that it's exactly describing my product. It can be other types of a jar. It can be a big jar. It can be a small jar. So glass jar itself is the broadest way how you would describe this product. Are you still with me? Cool. Okay. Next, it's going to be keywords that are highly relevant to your product. For example, it's going to be the glass jar with bamboo lid and glass straw. This is exactly describing my product. Keep in mind that right now what I'm looking for is an exact match keyword that can highly define whatever someone would look for whenever they're typing that search term within Amazon's search bar. So that's why I'm saying this would be a longer tail keyword that someone would look for your product and find your product or products very similar to it. Now, the third type, it can be branded keyword. Our cat is meowing. I'm thinking to let him in so he's not going to disturb the whole session. Still thinking, let's wait for the next meow. Okay, so third one, it's going to be branded keywords. Now, let's say this is Scale Wave brand. Let's call it Scale Wave brand. That's the first thing coming right now to my mind. Let's say that this is a Scale Wave glass jar. Now here, as you can see, just because I mentioned Scale Wave and glass jar, even if the second keyword is our broadest keyword, glass jar, just because I put the word Scale Wave in front, it is related to my brand. So in that case, someone else is looking especially for my brand, for my product on Amazon. And yes, here it can also be Scale Wave, glass jar with bamboo lid, and with glass straw, which is super long, it's actually a phrase. They can also look up with that specific wording, my product, and they will still find my product if I'm advertising for it. So as you can see, right now we aimed to go from the broadest thing that is describing your product to the most specific thing that it's describing your product. Why am I sharing with you this and why I answered in more depth when it comes down to keyword research is because the way how we like to approach keyword research when it comes down to brands that we manage at scale with is making sure that first off we understand, does the brand already has demand on Amazon for their own keywords? And right now people are looking for our product, yet they are not finding it. First thing that we're going to focus on, we already have warm audience that is looking for us and they are not converting. And might also be that someone else from our competitors are showcasing their listings whenever they are looking for our branded terms. So then it's going to be very important for us, especially if we have outside traffic that is coming towards us, and when they are looking for us, competitor is pushing their product, that we are going to be the first one showing up. And then based on that, the second is going to be exact match, that are highly, highly relevant to whatever we sell. And then the third one is going to be broader match, which is more on the discovery campaign side. Let me know if that helped. Okay, next question. Is there a simple step-by-step Amazon to PPC tutorial I can follow to get started? Yeah, so I am not currently providing necessary tutorials. What I am doing is exactly these sessions. Reason for that is that I want to make sure that you understand first the basics, understand what matters first, and then based on that, you have your fundamentals. Based on that, you can learn all the tips, tricks, tactics, whatsoever you would want to apply. But if you don't understand the basics, you're going to have a very hard time in replicating success. So closest that I can get you is recommendation to whatever we have on ScaleWave and tutorials and so on are these AMA sessions. And if you're really wanting to, hey Noemi, how do I set up a campaign, like step by step, or what is the difference between manual and auto campaigns, we do have on our YouTube channel content for that as well. I am personally walking you through on the step-by-step process. So you have those two options. We do not have per se tutorials, but these are the ways how we are teaching first off you who's watching this, who's asking all these questions to our brands that we manage, letting them know insight on how we think, why are we doing certain things, and why are we not doing certain things. And three, that is best way for us to also demonstrate that we actually know what we're talking about. Let me know if that helped. Okay, cool. Next question is, how can I download and use Amazon reviews to improve my PPC strategy? Okay, great question. So there are certain ways how you can download your reviews. The tool that I'm most familiar with is Helium 10. It's Helium 10 and it has one specific option where you can download the reviews of specific products. I'm not sure if it's free, if it's paid. We haven't done it in a while. But there should be certain third-party tools that are allowing you this. I'm just very curious about the way how you phrase it so you can improve your PPC strategy. The first thing that is right now coming to mind when you're saying that is how we would apply it, not for PPC, but we would apply it for seeing if there's any improvement to the listing itself that we could make is by improving the listing first. And then once that we improve the listing, and here to be super clear and specific, so I'm not giving you a default answer, improving the listing is, example, we're going to download all the reviews. We're going to look through all the positive reviews, negative reviews, neutral reviews even. We want to get the sentiment of the buyer, because based on that, we can see what to keep, what to delete, what to change. And really importantly, now that we know all those three things, how can we also target whatever maybe specific things our customers would look for when they are buying our product? How are there any keywords that would be relevant for us to include in our strategy? I would more use this, not as much for applying the keyword itself to the PPC campaigns, but I would personally use it as improving my own listing, and then based to that listing itself to bring more traffic. Okay, cool. Next question. How do some sellers manage to launch and rank without PPC or giveaways? I'm not sure. If you're asking me about the cleanest way to do so, it would be via redirecting traffic from an external source. Say you're running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, or any other type of ads, you're running it to your listing, and then based on that, you're converting technically also for selling the products that you're selling. That is one of the ways. Second thing would be via, if you have demand, some type of demand when it comes down to external traffic, again, through blogs, or if you're going to feature your product on someone else's channel, or if you have a reviewer review your product and then they are going to link to your product within their description. Those could be all ways that one could manage in a white hat way, so in a Amazon compliant way, how to launch and rank their products without PPC or giveaways. But those would be my thought process. Other external channels that are redirecting a customer to purchase your product on Amazon. Next question is, how should I actually use PPC on Amazon to drive consistent results? Whenever I'm receiving these questions, I want to make sure that I understand, or I'm defining exact words. Here, you're saying, how should I use PPC on Amazon to drive consistent results? Let's define what consistent results means and at which stage of the product are we going to get those results. Because a consistent result can be your spending without making any sales. That is a consistent result. Not to be mean, but again, defining it of input, output, yes? So if you want to get better results with your ads, first thing what you would be doing, instead of just spending, now getting also sales. And here I'm not saying that this is the most optimized way. This is just a way for you to understand that once that you have put input, so you have spend, now your sales are going to be equal to whatever you put in, or lower than whatever you put in. So in those two scenarios, is going to be either you're break even, either you're not breaking even for your product. The next case is going to be, all right, so once that I figured out what works, I'm breaking even, how can I make this most efficient for my product? So the next stage is going to be, now I want to not only break even, but to break even profitably. And then probably what you're going to do is you're going step by step to break even profitably more and more and more until you're going to find a very sweet spot threshold where from you cannot become more profitable from the ad side. And this is platform agnostic. This is on all platforms. If your cost per click, it costs $5 and you want to pay $4 for it and you're not showing up for it, your ad is not going to show, your product is not going to sell. So you might technically want to charge Amazon you less for whatever you have to offer. But if no one is seeing your product, you're not making the sale, but you might be getting clicks because you're showing up in other placements. So once that you understand these phases, it's going to be really important for you to define, okay, what does driving consistent result means? You're stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And then once that you're there, now you will understand the threshold and you will see, hey, it cost me at least $3,000 to have these results, to make $6,000, let's say. And then you will see, okay, from here, where do I want to go? Do I want to invest more? Do I want to optimize more? And really, really important when it comes down to optimization, something that I want you to note, and this is something, a conversation that I'm having now with more and more brands, they want to become even more profitable. They want to make even more money. And if the platform is asking you for the $5 in order to sell your product is either we're increasing conversions, meaning that we're going to make sure that whoever is seeing, so our next potential customer, if they're seeing the product, they're going to purchase as quick as possible. So we're increasing conversion. Either you're going to play on the, are we going to increase pricing for our product? Is there anything that we're not doing, such as coupons, lightning deals, brand tailor promotions? So on the coupon side, is there something that we can do to incentivize someone to convert quicker? So those are going to be, that is my thought process. And this is how I would define when it comes down to driving consistent results. We have to define what consistent result means and at what stage of your product. Hafiz, I cannot see your question. I see that you're asking here to reply, please. I'm not seeing any question from you. And also, appreciate a lot that you're here. Can you just make sure that the questions that you're submitting, like there's one question and then a second one and a second one. Usually from you, we get like 5 questions or 6 questions in the one, and it's like, oh, okay, I cannot respond to all of them at one if they're like all chunked up. So just make sure that you're submitting one question at a time so I can reply, okay? But feel free to send in your questions. Cool. We have 4 more minutes to go. All right, so this takes longer than I expected. Let's speed it up a bit. How much can someone realistically earn using PPC skills? I love it. I just had a discussion with a very old friend, Vanessa from Seller Solutions. Shout out to her, she's amazing. She's providing catalog services. If you have any troubles with catalog, reach out to her. So when it's saying that how much can you realistically be earning using PPC skills, it really depends to defining your skill. So are you a junior? Are you an intermediate? Are you a strategist? Most of the time what I'm seeing is that Amazon expert is not a definition of whatever the skill requires. Amazon expert is just a blank statement. So where are you currently in your journey? Are you someone who's doing great in following training processes, steps, someone else's strategy? Because then for a junior role, you're going to ask way less than for an intermediate role. An intermediate already is able to create the processes themselves, to train people who are just starting out, to think of reporting and the current strategies that you're using for the account, how would they fit within whatever needs to be done and prioritized. And the way how I'm describing an advanced Amazon PPC manager, this is the person who sees in the future, who knows that for me to making sure that I'm going to have and keep the same performance, I need X amount of inventory. For me to increase sales, I need more of the creatives that work, more of the strategies that we have been, tossing around and they are working, but we are not duplicating the same strategy and so on. So this person sees in the future and is able to, from seeing in the future, to step back and see, okay, how we're going to apply that, when are we going to apply it, and which are the things we should not be applying. So as you see, these are 3 different total skills that you cannot ask for the same price for that. And based on that, I'm going to be true with you. When I started charging for Amazon ads, I charged way too little just because I was still a junior. I did not even follow any SOPs or so on. I literally technically followed a step-by-step course on how to sell on Amazon, and it was product, private label product, how to create your own brand. So technically my knowledge was very, very small, but I was confident in, hey, I want to practice this. I want to make the reps. So based on that, I charged $500 for full account management 6 years ago, something like that. So if someone is going to charge you right now that amount for full account management, I would say be aware, because those are the skills that you're going to get. Okay. Okay, usually I'm not answering this type of questions, but I think this is an important one that probably is on most people's minds. Hafiz is asking a question. Do you think an ongoing US-Iran conflict could affect Amazon business? Honestly, I don't know, and I'm not here to see in the future and to prevent that. What I am here is making sure that the clients we have and their accounts are in good standing, healthy standing, and making sure that whatever they are hiring us for, we are delivering on that. How can things be affected, not affected? Honestly, these are things that the business owner should be thinking of, not you as a manager. And if you're thinking from the point of view of, hey, I am doing Amazon ads for someone else, am I going to lose my job? I would think no matter how good you can always lose your job, and has nothing to do with how good you are. It has to do with the volatility of the seller or the brand itself. Especially with smaller brands, we see it's enough for them to have a small knockout and they're out. For bigger brands, it's harder to take them off the platform just because they have the systems in place to stay on the platform for as long as possible. And of course, Amazon is not going to throw out someone who is making them lots of money, or when it comes to prioritization. But those would be the questions that I would be asking rather than what is going to happen and how it's going to affect Amazon business in general. If you're a smaller business owner and if you're not dealing with big money, I'm talking about tens of millions, even hundreds of millions, people are going to look at you differently rather than brands who are making hundreds of millions on the platform. That's something that I've seen so far for the past 6 years. It's not a guarantee that if you're a big brand, Amazon is going to keep you on, even if you're doing irregularities. There you go. But this is something that I've saw on my end for bigger brands and smaller brands to happen. It's a problem of how fragile you are as a business. Let me know if that helped. Okay, next. Actually, we are about to wrap up. I'm going to answer the one last question because it was submitted for a while. And then we'll let you guys to it, because I promise that I'm not going to stay till the end. Next question is, when should I stop PPC campaigns and what happens if I do? You should stop any campaign that is within the account if it's not profitable. By profitable, meaning that you should be knowing your break-even, ACoS, you should be knowing how much you are willing to pay for ads, and you should be knowing the strategy. If you're in product launch phase, there's no such thing on becoming profitable right away in the one freaking campaign, so knowing that is going to help you decide when to stop it. When else should you stop a PPC campaign? If you're out of stock, or if you're about to get out of stock, the campaign or the product itself within the campaign should not be running, should not be enabled. Why? It's because you're still generating traffic towards a listing that is not fulfillable at the moment or closest to someone's desire to purchase the product. Those are the two things that I'm seeing. And 3, if this was set up a long time ago, is not within the strategy that you have for the account currently, and it's just wasting money. Even if it's the one click, if it's not bringing any more sales, you should be thinking of simply pausing the campaign. All right, guys, this is a wrap. Thank you so much for joining and for attending, and also for your questions. We're going to see each other back next week on Tuesday. I'm going to be more cognizant of making sure for the next 2 to 3 weeks, these sessions are still going to happen. Probably they're going to be just shorter, a bit, as I was saying, realizing the fact that it's great to be pregnant, and in the same time, things like this can just happen where the baby is just, they're positioning themselves right on your heart and you could barely breathe. Still, happy to be here. Again, my name is Noemi Bolojan. I am the founder of ScaleWave. We are an ad agency managing ads with brands between 6 and 7 figures on a yearly revenue. More than happy to have a look at your account if you think that we could be a good fit based on the feedback and value that I provided during this session. And if so, feel free to book a call directly on LinkedIn. You have directly there the book a call option. Feel free to book a call. We'd be more than happy to see what is going on right now in your account and which are the things that we might be able to help you with increasing that revenue goal that you might have for the year. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week. I will be back Tuesday at 1 o'clock p.m. EST time. Take care. Bye.